G'day guys, welcome to Lucy's channel, Lucy Lane, the Queen of Balmain. Today, we're gonna talk about why a German Shepherd is not right for you. So the reason why I wanna talk about this is recently we've received quite a few messages on social media, on Lucy's Instagram, TikTok, and now YouTube, on people wanting to acquire German Shepherds like Lucy. Even to the point of people asking for Lucy's breeder details, which in the past I've given out. I don't see a problem in that. But what I wanted to clear up is I feel a lot of people only see the fun, the adventures that we go on, the big flash photos on social media, and the videos on TikTok, and that's all well and good. And that is real stuff. Like, you know, apart from some post-production edits and stuff, like the things we do is all real. The places we go, the adventures we go on. But to get to that point has taken up to, and is still continuing, but has taken 2 years of continuous training. We've had Lucy for just over 2 years now. She's 2 and a bit years old, and we got her at about 10 weeks old. And the training for the lifestyle that we live started at that point, and it won't actually stop. So essentially what I'm saying is, if you think you can go just buy a German Shepherd and just get on with life and not put the work, the groundwork into shaping this dog, you shouldn't get a German Shepherd. Period, hands down. And I don't want you to get lost in like what, you know, in the pretty photos and the videos and all the things that we do and other like social media German Shepherds or dogs do. Because even though like a lot of that is real, there's actually, essentially they are only highlights of life with that dog. But there's a lot of work that comes up to that point. As soon as we brought Lucy home at the 10-week-old mark, we got into training straight away, and we started on 3 specific things. First one is name and recall. Obviously knowing her name's essential so she knows who she is, but recall is brutally essential for anything to do in a park, outside, wherever. You don't know what situation, you need to be able to call your dog's name and tell it to come, and it will come to you. Now, we started this off in the house, baby steps. You don't want to get too ahead of yourself. My wife and I would practice recall in the house with Lucy, and then we would essentially separate ourselves further and further and further apart, different rooms, different parts of the house and outside, took it to a park that we knew on a confined area, and then it just continues and continues and continues. And then down the track, I'd put Lucy in situations where I'd have her playing around and I'd recall her from her friends, and then we would continue training like that. But that is, if not the most essential thing to teach your dog from day dot. The next thing is toilet training. Look, we don't really need to brush over this too much, but it is essential unless you want your carpet destroyed and you're gonna have an unhappy household. That leads to a lot of ease in the house once you get it mastered. Lucy took literally, how long did you take, Luce? We had about 2 accidents in the house, then we had toilet training mastered. Again, you need to get onto this super quick. And the next thing is crate training. Now, I'm a big believer in crate training, and it really helped with the development of Lucy. Now, a crate isn't a cage where you stick your dog in to live, or you put your dog in there for punishment. We used Lucy's crate as her safe haven. So we introduced her to a crate by feeding her in her crate, and we can put her in her crate, and she loves her crate. It is her safe place. Because especially when a pup is a young pup, a confined pup is a safe pup. If you let your pup run around willy-nilly, you don't have eyes on it, you know, that's when pups can get into trouble. Destroy furniture, chew through wires, all that good stuff. So, like, if you utilize a crate in the correct way, they are fantastic pieces of equipment. And nowadays, we don't usually use Lucy's crate that much anymore. It's open, the door's open, and there's some blankets in there, and she can go in there whenever she wants. It's like a den for her. That's her little hidey hole. That's her safe place. But that's also a safe place that we can put her when we have to. Or if we have someone in the house that doesn't like dogs, unfortunately, you know, not everyone has to like dogs, and Lucy is an intimidating looking dog to you know, just public perception. So we have a safe place for her to go, and then we can bring someone in the house and they feel safe, or it's vice versa. But these three things are crucial, and these are the first three things that we taught Lucy once she came into our custody. Jesus Christ, that sounds serious, doesn't it? Custody, Luce. Get some eyebrows. The next thing that we did in Lucy's development was we actually did go to puppy training school. We actually missed the whole periods when that was going on. So we actually paid for a puppy trainer to come to our house to literally sit down and have a soldier's fight with us. So just sit down, have a coffee and have a yarn. And that was actually really good. She came around twice. She was a ex-police dog trainer. She was quite experienced with dogs like this. Information was great. It was just more some really basic stuff, but stuff I'll never forget, and we actually use to this day. For example, when your pup goes to the toilet, right? So like when you're trying to train your puppy to go to the toilet outside, and when it finally goes outside, you know, there's a whole lot of praise and you reward them for doing a good job, and especially a dog like this, they cotton on extremely quickly. But she said to me, or she said to my wife and I, why would you stop praising them down the track? So to this day, even when Lucy goes out and has multiple wees a day, I still reward her with praise, just to let her know she's doing a good job. And we've never had a relapse. They like to be rewarded and praised for doing good things. So I just want to keep reiterating that, you know, you should always be praising your pup for good behaviors, and that's a valuable piece of information that I learned, and we've done that the entire time. Also with the puppy training school teacher that came around, we learned a whole lot of things about socialization and how important that is, and then we literally got stuck into that. In the park, we took Lucy to a school, let her play with kids, we exposed her to so much socializing with every type, Tom, Dick and Harry, every kind of dog you could imagine, other animals. We did it because we wanted to put our best foot forward and give Lucy the best start to life. So the next phase in Lucy's development is clicker training. We got onto this straight after the little puppy school teacher that came around, and we started improvising this. So essentially, I would get her conditioned to the click via her food, and this just made training really easy. So like, instead of me making a big deal and giving her praise, and I can just click, give her food, and that was essentially, the click just means good job. It's all it means. I'm not going to do a video on clicker training. There's a million videos out there on YouTube that can explain it far better than me. But clicker training was valuable to training Lucy in other things later on down the track. But Lucy was a bit stubborn trying to learn this at the start, so I essentially just, for about 2 weeks straight, I had a bowl of her kibbles, and I'd just make her work for her food. It would be kibble, click, kibble, click, kibble, click, until that essentially like sunk into her brain. And she was stubborn coming to learn clicker training, so it took me about 45 minutes every night after I got home from work, and I would sit there driving the neighbors nuts because they'd hear this click, click, click for 45 minutes straight as I'm feeding Lucy her food. But that's what it took, because I wanted to put the work in with my dog. Okay, the next part of Lucy's development and training came to basic and advanced obedience. Now this is where I got in contact with a military dog trainer. He had a business in Sydney here, that's now moved up to Brisbane, but yeah, best in the business, badass dude, trains badass dogs, and you know, all that military stuff is really cool. But he also works with young puppies and their early development and basic training. He's got a puppy school business and it's fantastic, but it is really attractive working with someone that comes with such authority in their industry. So we learned pretty much all the tools that I learned from working with this person. His name was Will from Master of Puppies. They're on Instagram. Drop them a follow. Everything I learned from them, I took and applied to the rest of my training. So we did basic obedience, so you stay, sit, calm, all that good stuff. And then we did like distraction training, and then we did advanced obedience and heel work and all that sort of stuff. And that's just over time, you start implementing that more and more and more and more and more. And the information that I learned, I would apply, oh hell, kisses, good girl. So everything we learned, I would apply in everyday situations. And I'd spend, honestly, I think I've spent in total half an hour a day on average since we got Lucy training her. So that equals out to be about 4 hours. Is that nice? 4 hours, 400 hours worth of training Lucy's received. Thank you so much for licking me. Thank you for your kisses. 400 hours worth of training that Lucy's received, probably so far. And that's just the time that I put in on my own with her. So with all of Lucy's training and things that we did, before, like in the videos where you see Lucy and I, you know, doing off-lead walks in the city and on the beaches and going on hikes and getting Lucy to pose and these elaborate poses for photos in different parts of the city. She's got no lead, and it's busy, there's people, there's other dogs, there's distractions. I implemented all of this training with Lucy up until now, and it'll continue because we can only get better. Training never stops, but everything we've learned up to this point, we've utilized. But before going out there and doing it, we had to master it in easier situations because you don't want to set your dog up to fail. So we started all this training in comfortable environments at home, and then once we got a little bit, you know, once we could start to master the basics at home, we'd take it into the park. And then I would randomly surprise training on Lucy, say I would recall her when she was playing with her friends at the park, time of her life, and then I'd recall her, and then I would keep practicing recalling her and then reward her for when she did come back. And then it got to the point, like now I could recall her, she could be at Dog Disneyland, and I could recall her and she would be at my heel in a second. But that didn't happen overnight. That took months and months and months of training and trust between me and Lucy. But with all of the things that we learn, you then utilize in your day-to-day lives as well. So for instance, the off-lead dog walking. We do that through the city. There's busy cars and bikes and people and things like that, but we didn't start there. We started doing that, you know, 18 months ago in a park that was confined. And then I'd practice recall with her and I'd keep her walking at my heel. And then I would find a different park, new environment, and I'd do that training with her there, but still in a safe environment where dogs could go off lead. And then I'd do it in like an environment where it was dogs had to be on lead, but it was a safe park, it was away from roads. And then eventually I started doing the training walking home from the park when Lucy was completely tired and she didn't have the juice in her to pretty much go crazy. And then I started implementing it walking to the park when she was more hyper and excited, but she then had to listen to all my commands. So essentially, you just build up. There's a massive build up process to utilizing and doing these things with your dog, and it just takes time and patience. So when it comes to purchasing a German Shepherd like Lucy or buying your own Lucy, like essentially you can't just buy a Lucy off the shelf and just do all the things that you know you want to do from the get-go. You can absolutely train your dog to do pretty much anything to be ready for any situation in any environment, but there is a journey to get there. And like I just don't want you to be influenced by, we're keeping you up, sorry, we're keeping her up. We just don't want you to get influenced by all of the fandangle, a lot of the content that you can see on social media. Hey, Lucy's pages is one of them, but there's a lot of pages out there where, you know, there's been a lot of work to get to that point to do those things with their animals. And especially with Lucy, man, the amount of work that she's had. And she is not a working dog. She is not a service dog or any means of the word, by any means of the word, she is not. But She's had a lot of exposure to all sorts of different environments and elements, and she's had loads and loads of training, and she's going to continuously receive more training. Another big question we get asked is Lucy's posing for photos and all that good stuff. So that is essentially position training, and we started at the basics at home and then implemented that outside into like a park that we're familiar with, that it's easy, and then we just constantly kept upping the game and putting it in different situations and getting Lucy to pose here and getting her to sit, stay, or go up, you know, and focus and all that sort of stuff in an environment where there's, and eventually we've gone into environments where we can get her to pose. There could be a truck going past, dogs will be barking at her, kids could be trying to pat her, and she will just be complete. It's just me and her. There's nothing else going on in the world that matters. Thank you. I'm getting a kiss. Oh, who's that? Who's that? But yeah, again, we just didn't start, you know, I just didn't get Lucy, take her straight into the city, off the lead, day 2, you know, prop her up, and you know, all that kind of stuff is a recipe for disaster if you don't work up to all of those different situations. And again, it is training, and it is exposure, it is practice, and it is putting the time and effort into your dog. So guys, if you're willing to put the work in with owning a German Shepherd, and put the work in from the start, whether that is you have purchased a German Shepherd or you have got a rescue, honestly, you have to put the work in from the very start, and you can have your own version of a really well-mannered, well-tempered dog like Lucy. I think Lucy is the ultimate example, and a very good example of a good, well-balanced family dog. But again, even if you get a dog from, you know, shit hot bloodlines, and Lucy's from a very reputable breeder in Australia, very high quality bloodlines, you know, the work still has to be put in. So I just want to take away that expectation. If you buy a new German Shepherd and you think, you know, I've got this dog, it's going to be like this, you know, that's not the case. The work has to go in before you start reaping those benefits and rewards. And honestly, it only makes your life better because you can just do more with your best friend. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to take Lucy for a walk. She is fiending to get out of here. Lucy, do you go walkies? Oh yeah, she wants to go walkies. We're going to take Lucy for a walk, and we're going to show you how we implement like a basic training session out on just a casual walk. We're going to go to a new park. I've just Google mapped, it's about 20 minutes away from here. So this is going to be a new environment. She's going to muck around, do her thing. She's going to have a play. Then I'm going to recall her. We're going to do some training and just show you how we like implement bits and pieces of training every day.
Hip. Middle. Heel. Hip. Heel. Down. Big.
Anyway guys, that is just a small snippet of some of Lucy's training that we do on a daily basis, and obviously this all varies from different areas and we work on different things and just depends on what we're actually working on at the time. But this is just to give you a basic understanding. Whilst hanging out at the park, we were lucky enough to bump into a couple of Lucy's TikTok fans, and these two girls had an absolute blast with Lucy playing fetch. Getting her to speak is a big hit with the kids. They really find it quite amusing. You can just watch how Lucy interacts with the kids here. She truly is the ultimate family dog. But guys, just to reiterate, I wanted to make this video so people who are looking at getting a German Shepherd and are or could be inspired through the social media and possibly our channels. Like Lucy has 1.4 million combined followers across her multiple platforms, and just to debunk the myth of like when you just buy a German Shepherd it comes out of the packet ready to go, guys. That's not the case. The work has to be put in, but what you put in is what you get out. Anyway guys, we're gonna call it a day there. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up, drop a comment below, let us know what type of training are you doing with your German Shepherd, and are you looking at getting a German Shepherd? Anyway guys, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do, and we will see you in the next video.